Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. So, in one of the videos, because y'all know it's been lots of videos that's coming out. Let me tell you something. The thing about it is, every single day there has been action, there has been movement, and I only put out a video a day, so it's kind of hard to keep up with. 'Cause your girl gotta edit these videos, right? But let's go ahead and give the update. In one of the past videos, we saw that I went on a job interview. And I know y'all been waiting. Y'all been waiting with bated breath to find out the results of that job interview. But before we talk about the job interview, I want to give you some backstory. I want to talk about some things. And let me see. I got my laptop here. Because I want to give y'all some real dates. Because a lot of the dates I've been giving you have been kind of like roundabout dates. Off of memory. Like it was around this. It was around that. But honestly, everything has been happening so freaking fast. Everything. So for a lot of you who know me, you know, according to this channel, who know me, what you might know, well, actually you might not know this, but I don't put out information in real time, right? Because I need to know how it's going. I need to know who I need to protect in case I need to protect anybody. And I need to know if it's safe, if it's a safe time to release information. Case in point, the eviction journey. You guys did not know about the eviction journey until after my tenant was evicted. I started releasing those videos. Now, while I had been recording the videos throughout, just in case, you know, you never know how it's going to go. I like documenting. So while I had been recording the video throughout, I did not release the videos until after she was evicted. The reason why? Because just in case things worked out, just in case she decided to start paying her rent again, I was not going to put my tenant's business on blast. In fact, a lot of you didn't even realize I had a rental property until that happened. I never talked about my rental property. I keep things separate, right? So I never talked about being a landlord. I never talked about having a tenant. I never talked about the ups and downs of any of the things because I believe in people's private lives and protecting those private lives. Same with my job. I never really talked about my job and what I did for a living. Outside that, you knew I had a job, that I had to go to work because I'm always traveling. So, you know, I gotta maneuver my life in order to accommodate my travel, right? But I never talked about my highs and lows at work until recently when I had that one manager that was just impossible. Even then, I normally don't talk about those things because I can deal with those things. I've been in the workforce for a long time. But when she just was like bumping her head, and because I knew I was leaving, because I knew I was looking for a new position, and because I knew I had a new position, I could actually start talking about that. It took a while for my new position to start. So there was this time period between me leaving and me starting, and I knew this because I had a start date. My start date was going to be mid-January. It takes a while sometimes for things like that to work out when in this industry. That's why you guys knew what you knew about the old job. And I say that because I know that there were people who was like, oh, this isn't professional. But you know what? This is life. I feel like as long as I'm respectful, I cannot let anybody hold my truth in ransom. You understand what I'm saying? Because I feel like a lot of companies get away with what they get away with because we're afraid to communicate. We're afraid to talk. We're afraid to be transparent. In hopes that we keep a job, in hopes that nobody lets us go, in hopes that we don't get fired. I don't have that fear hanging over my head anymore. And I say that to say, like, even with this, people are like, oh, you can't talk about how you feel about travel, how you feel about not working, how you feel about this, because what if the new people see it? Who cares? Who cares? I'm in that position where I can say who cares. A lot of people aren't. So you have to govern your life accordingly to what you have going on. You can't do what the next person does just because the next person, that's what they do. So I'm not encouraging anybody to move how I move. All right. I will encourage you to move how I move spiritually, to move how I move metaphysically, right? But as far as what I'm physically doing and what I'm physically saying on this camera, I'm not encouraging anybody that. I'm doing it because it's a risk I can afford to take. I can afford to take the risk because I set up my life in such a way that I don't have to depend on a government job or on a job. I actually call all jobs government jobs. Even if you worked at 7-Eleven, I still call that a government job. So yeah. So I knew I did not want that master hanging over my head, the master of having a job, because you have to rely on the job to pay your bills. This is why on this channel, I preach become debt free. Not because I think debt is bad. No, it's a tool. It's a tool. Use any tool you can at your disposal, but be wise. Be wise about it. Don't do it just because you're saying, I deserve this, I work hard, I deserve. No. That is a trick, okay? And I say that's a trick because while you deserve it because you work hard, now you took on a new debt, guess what? You're going to have to continue to work hard because you got to pay that debt. You now owe somebody something, okay? So be very calculated and taking on those risks, because if you want true freedom, you have to become free in your finances. You cannot keep signing up for contracts that when you get paid, they own more of your money than you do, okay? So because I'm free in those contracts, this is why I knew without a job, I can take the risk of leaving the country and living a life of my dreams. Leaving the country. The big inspiration for that is not because I hate this country. It's not because I did say I'm boycotting the country. I am. But it's not because it's a political move for me. The big inspiration for it is because I love travel. It was always going to be the plan to live my life globally, regardless of who was president. Okay, I don't care who is president. Obama could have been president. Kamala Harris could have been president. That would have still been my move because I love travel. I'm obsessed with travel. I love how I feel out there. I love who I am out there. That's just what I do. Okay. And so, just wanted to clear that up. Just wanted to clear up that I am very, very, very strategic. I would not ever say I'm leaving a job and I don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out. I would never do that. I don't believe in having to rely on other people to take care of you. I don't believe in that. So I would have never put myself in that position that somebody would have to take care of me, that somebody would have to finance me, that I would have to be out there begging, groveling, crying just to make it. That's not cute to me. That's not fun to me. Okay. All right. So on March 5th, I got the email from my company that my position was de-scoped due to budget cuts. And they gave me a last day of April 1st, April Fool's Day. I was kind of like, ugh. I didn't think that was cute, April Fool's Day. And I say this to say because I am a big believer in manifesting. I am a big believer in what you say out there. Be careful because it will come back good or bad. It don't even matter. It don't matter. So be careful. So April Fool's Day, I knew I didn't want that, right? And I'm like, oh. But clearly, if that's my last day, that's my last day. I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna make it work for me. So when that happened, I didn't receive this email. They sent this about 2 p.m. And so now around 6 or 7 p.m., they actually physically called me on the phone. Before this, I had said I had a dream. I had a dream that night. So when I woke up on Wednesday, this day was a Wednesday, I had the dream already that I was fired. I had a dream that I was fired. I told Jay this. I told my friend Gwen this. I had a dream I was fired. Isn't that interesting, right? And I said that was interesting because I had no feeling that there was trouble in paradise. Yes, we knew that Doge was going around cutting things, cutting up the government. We knew that. right? So because we knew that, it was like, everybody was just kind of like, be careful with that because it could be whatever. But I wasn't afraid of that. I didn't feel like, oh, my job is at jeopardy. I never felt that way. So there was really no reason for me to have this dream. And that was that. So when I came home, actually, I didn't see this email, but when I got the phone call, I was not surprised. I was not devastated. I actually laughed like, ha, 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 ha. Because, I was feeling all psychic and whatnot. And that's a gift. That's a gift, right? And I was like, wow, because God actually gave me this warning. I was forewarned. So I was not devastated about that at all. So my job immediately went into, we're going to get out here. We're going to look for another position for you, because they act as headhunters. I never have to look for my own jobs. I mean, you can in tangent, because again, I don't believe in putting all of my eggs in one basket. I don't believe in relying on one thing for my resources, right? So in the past, in a case like this, while my job is looking, I'm also doing my job and putting the word out there to my network, because again, if they don't find something, what you gonna do? But also, I also think that sometimes it's also a great opportunity to see what else is out there. Is this a good opportunity where you can get a pay raise? Is this a good opportunity where you can get better benefits? Is this just a good opportunity to explore your options? That's what I normally do. But because I had already talked to you guys about the 10 things I would do if I was going to be laid off, because I already did that, I had already started doing the mental exercise of reimagining my life. How would life look if I lost my job? If I lost my job, what would I do? Originally, I started thinking, what I said before, let me get out there and start putting the word out there and finding my own opportunities, right? But then I started thinking some more, and I was like, you know what? I ain't got to work. We can actually use this time to go and travel on a more full-time basis. Call it travel, I call it vacation, but really it's just extended travel on a more full-time basis. And I could still take it month by month. Meaning for me, I never really truly felt like I would just never work again. I would take it month by month, because I could actually start the going out there and traveling and then realize like, oh wow, this is so good, I can do this. Or I could be like, you know what? My money, my savings cushion is actually dwindling faster than I would want. And I'm not able to keep up with the lifestyle that I want, because again, roughing it would have never really been what I wanted. I wouldn't have wanted to live in hostels with 8 people in one room. I've done that before. But knowing that I have all of this stuff to include computer equipment in my things, I just wouldn't have wanted that life for us. Would I have done it here and there for the adventure of it all? Absolutely. But I knew I would need to have the funds to keep us comfortable and more sustainable. So had I been out there and money was just going faster than I could actually pull money back in, or we could pull money back in. And again, I say me a lot because I'm just of that belief system that if it's going to be, it's all on me. I'm never going to put the pressure on somebody else, and that somebody else is Jay. I'm not going to put that pressure on him, even though he contributes to our lifestyle and what we do. But I still go about life like, I'm going to do this. I can do this for all of us. Me, my mama, my sisters, my brothers, anybody. I think it's a part of a secret to my success, really. Because one of the things I've always asked God was to give me so much, to give me such abundance that I can take care of all the people and never have to feel some kind of way about money. Never have to feel like, oh, but I gave them a loan and they ain't paid me back. Oh, but I paid this or I paid for that and Jay ain't helped. I never have to feel no kind of way because I'm so freaking abundant, because I know that my gifts and I know that my blessings come from God. He's the provider. He's the provider, and I'm just a conduit. So the conduit, that's me, means that God poured this blessing into me so that I can be a blessing to those around me, to the people I love and care for. Okay? So, on the 5th, my company went into action of looking for a position for me. And we communicated back and forth about what would be acceptable for me. and what wouldn't be acceptable for me. And I even threw out there that if they found something overseas, I'm open to that. If they found something that required me to relocate, I'm open to that. Like, I have so much flexibility and freedom. I'm open to things. I'm open to be creative with solutions. We even talked about sabbatical. How would it look like, let's say, like, if you don't look for nothing for me and I'm still employed by you? Like, we looked at, is there a way, like, let's say, like, I take leave without pay. Maybe I bill 1 day a week from my PTO. Little things. We were looking at little things. How can we stretch that out? How would that look? So we went back and forth with all of those things. But a lot of that, I realized, was just me being afraid to go cold turkey, right? I was still trying to stretch out the situation. So then in the meantime, they changed my last day to the 31st. So I was like, okay, boom, look at that. No longer April Fool's Day. So we started marching forward with that as being the last day. Hey guys, okay, so I'm editing the video and I realized I forgot to tell you guys about 2 parts in this story. One of the parts is this: because I knew I was leaving and not going back to corporate America, I gave away clothes. I gave away clothes, starting with the clothes on my back. Somebody liked the blazer I was wearing. I took it off then and there and said, boom, it's yours. I don't need it. And I started giving away work clothes, blazers, things like that, because I knew I wasn't going to need it anymore. And I knew in traveling, I wasn't going to be carrying a bunch of big, heavy, bulky things. So I started giving away clothing. So that's one. Number 2, I forgot about this. So I was telling somebody this story. I totally forgot. Earlier on in the process, when I was trying to get clarity and figure out what I wanted, as far as, do I want another job? I don't know. It seems impossible to get another job, so I don't know. What about traveling the world? Do I want that? Yeah, I do want that. But I want it to be easy. I want it to feel good. I want all of these things. I want clarity, right? And remember, I said when I started planning, I couldn't get past Ireland. I was like, I know where I want to go. But as far as the next step, buy this plane ticket or buy this train ticket, buy this hotel, buy this Airbnb, none of that was moving in clarity. And I like to move from a position of clarity. So I said, I'm going to fast. I'm fasting for 3 days. No food. Only doing water at the end of the days. And that was Esther fast. Okay. Esther fast is a real stringent fast that you do when you are really looking for quick answers fast, when you're looking for something that feels like a miracle. That's the Esther fast, right? So I said, I'm going to do this for 3 days. And then Jay said he was going to join me. I did not ask this man to do that, but he said he was going to do that. And the whole thing with the Esther fast too is when you're feeling weak, when you're feeling hungry, when you're feeling like you don't have willpower, pray. Pray about what it is you are fasting for in the first place. Okay. And for me, again, that was clarity. I wasn't sure what I wanted. Did I want another job? Was there another job? Is that even possible? Okay. Or if we're moving forward with traveling the world, what's the answer? What am I supposed to do? Totally forgot that I did that. Totally forgot that we did that earlier on. But that was also part of the process that I wanted to add to this story. So just to let you know some more things that we did. I'm going to tell you right now, like a lot of people ask me, what are your steps? What did you do? Step 1, step 2, step 3. The main thing I do, y'all, I operate from a place of spirituality. I've always have, always will. That's why sometimes the things I do may not make sense to the mere man who hears my stories. They say you're impulsive, you're emotional, you're this, you're that. No. I'm spiritual. And when I know a thing, and you cannot knock me off my square. You cannot knock me off my square. And when I don't know a thing, I go into meditation, I go into prayer. Okay? I talk to God about it till we know what we're doing. Now let me see. Oh wow, this stuff happens so fast. All right. So around March 13th, around the middle of March, was it that day? Okay. So then there came a point where my company called me to basically say that they can't find anything.
Okay, I just wanted to touch base with you real quick. So we've sent your resume out to a bunch of places. It's admittedly a little slow this week because of the looming, maybe shut down or not, you know,
Yes.
government. So we haven't seen a lot of activity. That's why I wanted to tell you that if you have an opportunity, you know, to get your resume out anywhere, I don't want to tell you not to. Just saying, like, I want you to be with us, but I'm getting a little nervous that we only have a couple weeks, you know, left in the, you know what I mean, to identify, and then only a little bit of bench time if we don't have you, you know, in process for a new gig. I'm just worried about timeline as a person to person. You know what I mean? I don't know what your, you know, I don't know what your threshold is. I know me, I can't go without a paycheck. You know what I mean? You know, so I just wanted to kind of get a checkup in the neck up, see how you're doing, make sure you know that it's a high priority. But also, you know, I want to be real honest, like, I don't have anything right now, so I just want to check in with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm fine. I think that, so what is the bench time? Is it like what, 2 weeks? What is it?
Yeah, I think it's probably 2 weeks, and then it's longer if we have you
something in motion.
Yeah, exactly. And HR will be reaching out to you pretty soon to discuss that. But I didn't want it to look like we're not done with you. You know what I'm saying? Or you with us. We have to start having conversations just in case. You know what I mean? Otherwise, that doesn't set you up for success, whether you're with us or not.
Yeah.
I can't selfishly make you wait. You know what I'm saying? Wait for us, kind of thing.
So that's why I said, as far as I'm concerned, it might just be the best time to take a little bit of a breather until, things settle down a little bit. Like, I'm just, because I don't want to, you know, you go through this, you get settled in, you get all of your things together, all your accesses, all of that stuff, learning the lay of the land, learning the job, learning everything, and then you're out of there.
Right.
You know, almost like that last hired, first fired thing. Because these people who made cuts, they don't know me.
No.
You know? So, so it's like, it's easy to cut who you don't know. And it's easy to root for and champion for the people who you do know. And you've had these relationships with, you know. It's just dry out here. And there is not a whole lot happening out here. And so that was that. But again, I wasn't really worried because I already knew what our plan was. And our plan was going to be to leave. Right? So I wasn't looking outside of the company. Now, somebody asked the question about, if you knew you was going to leave, why was you entertaining other positions? Why? It's because of this. One of the contracts with my company is this, because they pay me and because they pay me my salary, whether I have a job or not, the agreement is I will be open to being submitted for jobs, right? And I would be open to interviewing for positions. If I didn't want to do that, hold on. Hey, Morgan. Okay, so so part of the agreement is that I would still be open to opportunities. Now, you could say, well, if you were gonna just go travel, why not just tell the company no, don't do nothing? Why? Because I wanted my paychecks, guys. I wanted to have as many paychecks as possible before leaving. And again, when I say my company pays me, so they do something like they put me on overhead, right? So they put me on overhead as they continue to look, and I don't make a little salary. I make really good money. So I was going to go with that, period. Continue looking for me. Remember, the word on the street was, there's nothing out there. Remember, the word on the street for my company, they can't find nothing. And this is unheard of because there's always something out there. But what was happening was, because a lot of places were not sure what the future was looking like as far as Doge was concerned, a lot of places just weren't hiring, period. A lot of places just weren't backfilling, period. This was the climate. So yes, please continue to look for me. Please keep me on overhead, because this was more income that was able to flow into my life to help me do what I needed to do in preparation of not having employment. That's what it was. That's what it was. March 31st was going to be my last day of work. March 31st. Okay. Okay, he said he on the roof doing an inspection. He'll call me back. Okay. These adjusters, y'all. Again, y'all don't even understand the balls I be juggling. So we juggling, I'm juggling a lot of things over here. But I'm good at that. So, on March 27th, I didn't even realize this was March 27th, because I'm telling you, stuff be happening. And I keep it moving. And because I'm always doing a lot of things between preparing for travel, getting all those plans together, flights, hotels, logistics, itineraries, getting all that stuff together. The things we need, going to the UK, you need the ETAS, I don't know, ETAS, I don't know if it has a name. Just all of the things. I had to get a new passport, y'all. My passport came back in time. I had to do all of the things, right? To include shutting down a job, to include swatting away other people. So let me tell you, like I said, my company was looking for a job, but I was not entertaining from other companies. One girl was able to get through. I told y'all about that with the 3% 401k match and stuff like that she was offering. She was able to get through because she knew a friend of mine, and it was just like, okay, you know, being nice. But then I was like, you know, but everybody else, I was like, I'm not looking right now. I'll get back to you. I'm not going to give you my information. I'm not giving you my resume. I'm not giving you anything. I'll get back to you. So I collected phone numbers. I collected emails. I collected those things in case in the future I needed to get back to them. Okay? Because again, we don't burn bridges over here. We don't burn bridges, and we keep our options open. So yeah, so like I said, so as far as I'm concerned, I was not out there physically networking, looking for something for myself. I was not. My company was still doing that because, again, I explained the agreement, how it worked, and because I still wanted my very lucrative paychecks, okay? Because they pay me, again, they were still paying my salary. They're still paying my salary right now. As I sit here in Virginia Beach with my family, they are still paying my salary. That's just how it is. This is this industry. This is the way it's always been done. I know there's that one person over there. I think he called himself working for those. He's trying to find fraud, waste, and abuse. But child, this is from their overhead. This ain't from the government. Okay, get it together. Get it together. But in the meantime, on March 27th, look, Jay, I didn't even realize that these dates were this close. On March 27th. Now, in the meantime, the video started coming out. Y'all know I ain't got a job. Y'all know this. Because honestly, I felt like I wasn't going to have a job. Remember, I said I didn't stop putting out videos until I really felt like this is what it is. This is the end. This is a sure thing, right? So on March 27th, my company emails me and they tell me about this new position, this position that just came open. And I met the requirements for it and that they were going to submit me for that position. I was like, okay, great. Go ahead and do it. Because again, they wouldn't submit me if I say no. But again, I can't be like, no. What's my reason for being like, no? Because then they'd be like, well, if that's the case, we'll just cut you off right now. I don't want to be cut off now. So great. Submit me for the position. Because what I know for sure is this. In the submitting of a position, lots of people are being submitted for the same position. And it's only one position. It wasn't like it's a new contract where they're trying to staff it up, or they're trying to beef it up. No, it was just one position, one lonely position out there. Lots of people going for that position. So submit me for that position because what are the odds? What are the odds? So that was March 27th, guys. And that was that. So then, you know, March 31st comes and that's my last day of work. And I'm living my good life. I do my last day of work. It was a great day at work. I go home. Boom. I don't have a job. The next day is Tuesday. April 1st, which was supposed to have been my initial last day, but it wasn't. So the next day is Tuesday, April 1st. I'm at home doing what I do, editing videos for you good people. And what do I receive? Because I'm on my computer and I hear a ding and I look at the ding, and the ding is from my company email. This was at 10 in the morning on my first day not having a job. 10 in the morning. I get an email saying that they would like to set up an interview with you for the position. Here's some time slots and dates. Let me know what works for you. So they gave me the 2nd, 2 times, the 3rd, 2 times, and the 4th, 1 time. So I picked the 3rd, April 3rd, because I knew I needed to get ready for an interview. Because my nails were raggedy, my eyelashes were raggedy. I didn't know what I was going to wear. So I knew I could take the next day, Wednesday. Mind you, my last day was the 31st. On the 1st, I get the request for an interview. On the 2nd, I decide to go get prepped for the interview. And on the 3rd, I have my interview. On the 3rd, Thursday. Mind you, they're still seeing candidates on Friday. So at the end of the interview, they told me they would let me know by the next week or so, because they were still interviewing. You see the video where I said I felt like I did okay. So I got feedback that I did a good job on the interview. I did way better than I thought I did on the interview. That was my feedback. So then we have the weekend. On the weekend, you see the video where I go to Costco's to buy stuff for the crash pad business with Gwen. And of course, I'm always using things as an opportunity to have a video. So I just turn on my camera and me and her start talking, because I don't be having a plan about a conversation. I'm like, yeah, we about to do a video. And so that was that. And then came Monday again. Monday, I'm at home. And I didn't receive an email. I received a text message. Monday. Mind you, my last day at work was Monday. Now we're on our next Monday. We are on the next Monday. I was left a voice message, and it was like, hey, good news. They want you. They want you. Please let me know regarding your acceptance. I got the job. I got the job.